breakaway. Here it comes. Cave, a fly ball to right field. Over is Carroll. He's got it. And the Arizona Diamondbacks are headed to the World Series. The Diamondbacks have won the National League pennant.
Arizona headed to the World Series, winning both road games, games 6 and 7 in Philadelphia. This is interesting to see. Daily Sports Podcast News Narrative 6 Gambling. It is Controversial Wednesday, but first, Arizona looking good. This is both Texas and Arizona won Game 6 and Game 7 on the road to make it to the World Series. For those of you that don't remember, I remember. For those of you that don't remember, in baseball, it's 2-3-2. So both of the underdogs won 2. They were down 3-2, both of them. I think Arizona was down 3-1. 3-2, and then they come back and win. What's up? Texas, Tejas, and their favorite at home. Arizona was the good bet. I told you, bet on them to win the World Series. Texas, the slight favorite to win the World Series. And Texas, the 2-run favorite to win at home. When does the game happen? Friday, 7:04 p.m. Central, 8:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. God. Oh, I hate the Eastern Time zone. Friday night? You mean Friday night? No. Nope. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's no chance. Favorite to win MVP, Corey Seager, Adolis Garcia, Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll, Marcus Simeon, and Christian Walker. What's the Faf kid? The Faf? Faf? The hell is he? No, not Tommy Pham. There's like a Faffy. Some sort of Faf name. He's a pitcher. Is that all they've got? FanDuel doesn't have odds for Faf? Who's the longest odds? 32,000 for Dane Dunning to win MVP. Okay. In other news yesterday, had some stuff. How about this highlight? Who wants to see a hockey hit? Let's watch a hockey hit. Here it is. Dallas Stars at Pittsburgh Penguins. This is John Ludwig with the hit. Watch this.
Stepped up. Radek
Step up.
was carrying the puck, and as he went to finish
Which of those two dudes had to be like helped off and got a concussion?
his check,
This guy. He's out.
it didn't seem like there was
He's
a
out
ton
right here
of
in the
head
air.
contact, but he was what looked like
He's out.
before his body hit the ice. He's back up on his rails.
So he hit this dude so hard. And that's welcome to the show, kid. He got a good hit and still knocked himself out. Crazy. Crazy how that happens. Keep your head up on the ice, this guy. I don't know who the hell that is, but yeah. So we're going to also, okay, so Controversial Wednesday real quick. I told you the best rivalry in sports this year is the NHL Players Association versus Pride Month. The NHL Players Association, and the Players Inclusion Coalition have agreed that players will have the option to represent social causes with stick tape. They're like, no gay stick tape. And then they're like, yes, gay stick tape. And they're like, now let the players do what they want. Like, dude, the NFL had this conversation like 10 years ago. It was about cancer, but now it's this. Like, so let the players do what they want. I mean, players at some teams have dress codes still. What the fuck are you doing? Okay, Michigan sign stealing. Here we go. Very simple situation. Michigan is accused of stealing signs from other teams. How do they do that? Why wouldn't you steal signs? Yeah, so if you've ever seen the guys with the hats are doing the stuff, and they're stealing, they're giving signs to the quarterback. Now, the most important thing to understand about this is how stupid that is. That college football is a quadrillion-dollar business, and there are high schools in America, like entire high school leagues, even with like poor public schools, that have radio technology that radios from the coach's mouth to the quarterback's ear. The way that they have been doing in the NFL, I literally think for 20 years. I could be wrong. I think it could be more than 20 years the quarterback has been able to hear the coach in their headset. In college, they don't. That's what they do, those stupid signs, and then they have two decoy sign dudes so that you don't know which ones are there. But other teams have been stealing signs like it's baseball. Anytime football does baseball stuff, it makes me want to puke. And that's what's been happening here. Baseball sign stealing. Or football sign stealing, or rather, pardon me. NCAA investigating Michigan football amid sign stealing allegations. So what is happening? This guy named Connor, who was a Marine, In the Navy, he was in Marine. I don't know. He served the United States of America Armed Forces, and he was really good. He then wanted to coach at Michigan. They paid him $55,000 to be a recruiting analyst, whatever the fuck that means. And they, all of a sudden, they're finding that Connor, not Michigan, other people find that Connor's been going to ball games. Connor has been going to opponent ball games to scout signs. What's really interesting about this is that it is illegal to do that. Which is funny to me because should it be? Because we all know the story of Bill Belichick with his dad, who his job was to do advanced scouting of other teams. Now you have film, and some people don't do that anymore, but maybe the idea is that it's an unfair advantage for other teams who can't afford to send someone to other people's games. And like if you do that, it's an unfair advantage, and they put these rules in place as a safeguard against teams with a lot of money just dominating teams without a lot of money, right? So that's the first thing. You can't go in person. The second thing is you can't videotape other stuff. Same thing. Unfair advantage. Recently, the NCAA has changed its policy so that Jim Harbaugh is on the hook for everything that goes on inside the program. I think I could be wrong. We might as well just call this the Paterno rule. Not knowing what's happening at your football program is not an excuse for coaches. Like, I don't know, which is important because this news was actually broken on December 1st, 2022. This is a new scandal, Nick. What are you talking about? It's in the middle of the season. What are you talking about? False. Someone called Arnie Palmy Alert, a well-known member at the message board VolQuest, said, and I quote, "Oh, do I have a story on that?" Don't know what that is. "One of my little brother's, quote, friends is a, quote, scout for them," referring to Michigan. "They paid him to travel to the UT Vandy game. Had planned it before the loss, obviously." So this is referring to 2022 fall, when Tennessee is the best team in the country for a little bit. They then lose to Georgia and South Carolina, knocking them out of contention for the college football playoff. So that's the loss he's talking about. "They were going to the UT Vandy game to try to steal our signs. He, the friend, is from Nashville originally, so he just went anyway after our loss since it was Thanksgiving. Says he and the others are never allowed to talk to Harbaugh directly about it. No clue if related." This is like a month and a half later, January 17th, same guy, Arnie Palmy Alert. "No clue if related, but I posted on here a couple months ago about a mutual friend of mine that was working for Michigan, going to other schools' game and stealing plays. They'd pay his flights, lodging, food, and seats right behind that team's bench for him to get video notes, etc. Michigan is pulling out all the stops, it seems. Can check my history to confirm if you want. Guy had tickets to our game at Vandy as they'd already paid for his stuff, thinking they'd use it in the playoffs before we lost to South Carolina." So Vols people were on this early. The interesting thing about this, to me, is that he's so fucking stupid. I sure hope our Marines have better OPSEC than this. So the investigation is like, now there are teams in the Big Ten that have video evidence of him gathering video evidence. And there are Big Ten people who have spoken off the record. So let's look at his Venmo. That's Connor Stallions, first of all. Use your real name on Venmo. Nobody should use their real name on Venmo. Venmo actually is crazy data rapers. I'm not a big fan. Connor Stallions paid Chase Evans, GA, Georgia. Sure. Piper Yanowick paid Connor Stallions, Dragon Warrior. Anyway, Connor Stallions has his public Venmos. Anytime you do public Venmo, it's not great. Just don't. Just don't do it. I believe. So, of course, this is not going to go unseen from the Michigander people who are like, "Oh, yeah, well, you guys." Here is Sam McGrath paid Brent Zebsky on September 21st, 2023 at 9:06 p.m. We don't know the amount, but it says four-leaf clover. What was Ohio State doing on September 21st, 2023 at 9:06 p.m.? Well, they were beating Notre Dame in football, which is what I guess we're thinking this. Now, Michigan fans are posting this, and they're like, look it. Here's a stat for Brent Zebetsky. and Sam McGrath, they're staffers for Ohio State. It could be alleged that Ohio State was smart enough to not do the Venmo before the game. Because why would they be Venmoing each other? It could be many things here. Because that was during the game. The game may have already been over at that point. But it was like in the game. So, like, are they scouting Notre Dame? Are they paying each other late? I don't know. But like, potentially, they're smarter. So now, is this a big deal? Here's Deion Sanders.
But what are your thoughts?
I mean, everyone's trying to get an edge. I mean, everyone's trying to get whatever edge they can. You could have someone's whole game plan. They could mail it to you. You still got to stop it.
That's true. Doesn't make it not illegal, but that is a good point. The coaches are like, yeah, I mean, it's a kind of everybody's trying to get an edge. It is what it is, which is a good point. The more funny thing to me is how this is impacting Michigan's season. Now the vibes all of a sudden are super weird because they have a schedule where they play 2 games and have 10 practices, which is fine. That is super efficient. It's a super efficient way to get to the playoff. Like, SEC has a tough schedule. Not like this. Does not have a schedule like this. No, nobody does. They play Penn State, they play Ohio State, they play Maryland. Those are their games they have left. I think they have another one, maybe Minnesota. A bunch of teams that can't beat them. Okay. It has been reported that Jim Harbaugh's contract extension was about to be signed. They were working on it. But now, the contract extension is on hold. Jim Harbaugh was going to sign a, quote, massive extension, but it has been put on hold. He has flirted with the NFL in the past, and it's entirely possible he'll want to do that. The Bears fans seem to really want him, and me, as a Lions fan, also really want the Bears to get Jim Harbaugh. I think he is going to make these millionaires really mad at him, and they will fall apart, which is really great for me. I find that to be hysterical. I also want to say that this is not the same for everybody. This is Jordan D. Halloween on Twitter, who works for Dogs247, which I think is, the 24/7 sports network. I think it's owned by Yahoo. On a radio show this week, on the coaches show for the radio show, Kirby Smart, the head coach of Georgia, was asked about the Michigan sign stealing thing. Remember, Georgia beat Michigan by $1 trillion in the college football playoff 2 years ago. Georgia head coach Kirby Smart is asked directly about the reports of Michigan stealing signs. Smart, quote, this is so funny. There's nothing I remember about the Michigan game that makes me think that happened. Me either, bud. Me either. So we're going to pay attention to this. I think they did it, and I think Harbaugh is not going to be at Michigan next year regardless. Here's a controversy. Chris Olave trying to pull rank on cops after getting pulled over for going 70 in a 35.
So I need you to stand right over here by my car. Yeah. You anything to arrest me, man? Yep. Real? Yeah. My bad, dog. I play for the Saints, man. And?
Did you hear what he just said? He tried that.
My bad, dog. I play for the Saints, man.
I played for the Saints. And the cop's like, and?
You have anything on you?
Yeah, cop's like, yeah, we know what the cop's thinking. Chris Olave's black. I mean, he was going 70 and a 35, so multiple things can be true simultaneously. That was such a casual way to try to get out of a ticket for being a Saint. If he should have said, I play for LSU, man. I think the cop probably would have cared quite a bit more about that. If I had to guess, that's what would be the case. But the Saints are not crushed it right now. Chris Olave got yelled at by Derek Carr. It was caught on a hot mic. The NFL had mic'd up Trayvon Walker during the Saints-Jags game, and it caught Derek Carr yelling at Chris Olave for quitting on a route. The route he was supposed to be running was a clear-out route, so he wasn't supposed to be getting the ball, but when you play with a real quarterback, every single route you can get the ball. Every single time, no matter what. Guys like Stafford and Favre get the routes. Let's watch the play first. Here's the play. And he's like, oh, look at Olave. It's not even there. So let's listen to Derek Carr get mad at him.
What are you doing? What are you doing? I had one now. Derek, you one now.
And then Trayvon's like, it wasn't there. He should have been there. Chris Olave's faster than that guy. I think he is. I'm not 100% sure. He's pretty fast, man. That's like why he was such a good draft prospect. He's so fast. The NBA reportedly, the Nuggets opened the season last night. They beat the Lakers. It was boring. The NBA reportedly will expand to 32 teams in the coming years or months once it finalizes its media rights deal. I like that. Actually, I don't. There are not enough. The problem with the NBA and the NFL expanding is there are not enough good players. There are enough good baseball players and hockey players to do this. They're all about the same, and you just keep divvying up resources. There are only 20 really good basketball players, and there are going to be 32 teams. That means there are going to be a bunch of teams just trying to suck in the correct year so they can get another one before the others retire. It's the same thing in football. Why aren't they expanding? Why don't they go to London? Why don't they go to Mexico? There are only like 20 good quarterbacks. Got to have a quarterback. Same thing. So I don't like this. I think it's stupid, and I think it's just going to be exciting for a couple of years, and then be like, well, we're back in Seattle, but we don't have Kevin Durant still, so I don't know how much to care about this. Not at all, man. That's the thing. Like, expanding is dumb. Jim Irsay, super pissed. We didn't even get into the Colts-Browns game. It was not good. Bad reffing. Jim Irsay said, number 5 QB Anthony Richardson's surgery in the NFL was successful. And here's the rough part. The NFL admits and understands that what they did not make the correct calls of Sunday's Colts-Brown game. I believe we need to institute instant replay for calls, including penalties in the last 2 minutes of all games. So I think that Jimmy is pissed. I don't blame him, man. I agree. I think personal fouls should have to be confirmed. Is that a hot take? I don't know. Back and better than ever tomorrow.